all traveled many uncertain roads. We have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumptions or beliefs.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This
is
That Thing of Ours.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Tuesday, 17th of September, 2024. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're over on X, smash that heart. And I'll let you know how I'm doing in just a minute, Steph.
Yeah, we'll let you know. Yeah, so actually, I'll just go ahead and get into it so that way Kay can do all the shenanigans in the background. Speaking of shenanigans, it was shenanigans today. And so we decided to walk out after an hour after the
Hour and 30 minutes.
an hour after the appointment, but we were there 30 minutes before, got all the paperwork done, 20 minutes before I was supposed to be there. It's respect their time. You figured they'd respect yours. And then there were other problems with things and whatever. So we ended up just walking out because we just didn't have the confidence. So, yep, we're going to talk to other people and we'll get it taken care of.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. Follow the intuition, follow the gut. And there were a couple of, I don't want to say signs, but hints from the universe and God about, hey, maybe we should go a different direction. So, hey, hindsight's 2020. We got that retrospective view now. And so we're going to, go find somebody else.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got F. Clint in the house.
Yo, what's up, F. Clint?
Chachi.
Hey, Chachi.
Miss Steph is in the house, obviously.
What's going on, Steph?
Aaron is working and lurking.
What's up, Aaron? How you doing, man?
See?
Working and lurking. That's right. That's what I did about my arm.
See, Steph understands.
Nice.
And then over on Pilled, we have Light Sphere hanging out.
What's up, Light Spear? How you doing?
And we got Shepherd.
Shepherding Shepherd. Hello. Thank you, friend, for joining us. Appreciate that.
Fast 5 times.
No.
I know.
Yeah, that one takes some practice.
Right?
Shepherding Shepherd. That's not too bad. 3, does that count?
Close.
I mean,
it's close.
I should have been able to mess it up by the first 3.
Could have. It is the 17th.
It is the 17th. I know. It's like, yeah. Too bad Jenny's not here already. She's been missing out on all the frogs.
She has been missing out on.
That's all right, because we got to catch up from yesterday because, the surprise, attempt against President Trump yesterday kind of threw the rest of the news off to the side. So we're going to try to be getting to that today. And
Well, there's more on that too.
well, and I'm sure that we're going to have a follow up. Yeah, I mean, it's in the description. I mean,
It is. You
I guess I should
should
read
know
it.
that.
I know I should read it.
So you ready?
Yep.
Let's go ahead and get started.
All right, let's do this.
You want to go ahead and read that?
Was the latest would-be Trump assassin a CIA asset?
Let's listen.
So the new Trump assassin just dropped, and there's some spicy details already. Ryan Routh, very strange guy who's lived a very strange life. And this time, the internet was wise and archived all of his socials as much as possible before the FBI took it all down. So here's some basics on what we know about him, and one really interesting rabbit hole about who he might be. Right off the bat, though, it's super early. This is all speculative. Take your time, pump the brakes. We're just digging through dirty laundry. We don't know what sticks yet. But this guy is a private American citizen who traveled to Ukraine on his own dime, to help recruit civilian soldiers to fight for Ukraine and Afghan special forces. He was like recruiting on his Facebook page. Here's an archive of all of his tweets that look pretty damn automated to me. They pretty much all look like this. In a past life in Hawaii, he apparently ran this company that made a single tiny home and a single Facebook page and never did anything else with it. Super weird. But I grabbed everyone that he followed on Twitter before they deleted it. He only followed 60. And right down at the bottom of that list, which I think indicates his first follow, is this girl named Sue Kim, who is ex-CIA, along with some other very interesting things. Now, again, reminder, this is just speculation, digging through Twitter dirt. Maybe this chick is just a wonderful, patriotic person that's helping America. Who knows? But her account is private, meaning why does he follow her? I've been digging around, and one of my followers said that they found her in the people that follow him back. I have not been able to confirm that for myself because they took the account down. If you've got a video of the 1.2 thousand followers that followed him, that would be great to know. He says that she was at the bottom of his followed list, meaning that she followed him right when he made the account. That would make sense, seeing as she's at the bottom of his following list of who he follows too. I mean, every asset needs a handler. And when you go through some of these other affiliations here, you get what is essentially the CIA training grounds at Johns Hopkins University. It explores the relationship between politics and the many kinds of military power, from the use of terror by small non-state groups to the threatened use of nuclear weapons. Its director is John McLaughlin, who is literally an ex-acting director of the CIA and ex-deputy director of the CIA, 3-decade career at the CIA. David is third on the list of people at the top of this institution at the university. 30-year career in Army Special Forces, various special operations, invading various countries, as well as Operation Enduring Freedom. You get the idea. Anyways, Rand Corporation. That's a military industrial complex think tank, kind of like the Atlantic Council. And LMI org. Yeah, that's like a military industrial complex education and training program as well. Preliminary findings on the internet when you search our homeboy, the shooter, show his arrest record, including in 2002, possession of weapons of mass destruction, class F felony, along with 3 other blocks of things like possession of handguns or concealed weapons and driver's license stuff. And yeah, that sounds like some operative shit to me. But again, we don't know any of this yet. We're just digging through dirty laundry on the internet. It's hard to tell what's real. But this is a photo of the weapon he used and the setup he had. People are speculating it looks an awful lot like, Russian, Ukrainian class of rifle. He's doing these weird recruitment ops in Ukraine for civilians. Well, he's like posting on his Facebook all the time to like no followers about how he's recruiting hundreds of civilians to fight for Ukraine. Posting for like Afghan special forces to contact him so they can come fight in Ukraine. But he's like just a random citizen from Hawaii. And one of the 60 people he follows is this CIA gal that allegedly follows him back. That looks an awful lot like a handler or a contact. His account looks an awful lot like a bot or an MK Ultra or a Pato. Who knows what the hell this is? His criminal record looks an awful lot like what you might expect a kind of guy in this kind of line of work to leave behind. And then there's the weird video evidence getting turned up.
Officials in Kyiv simply aren't interested in recruiting them.
Ukraine is reluctant to be cooperative.
That's Ryan Ruth, a U.S. citizen who set up the International Volunteer Center in Ukraine to help connect foreigners to Ukrainian military units.
Now I'm talking to over 100 soldiers every day, and pretty much everybody, all of my contacts in Ukraine, they were adamant, pretty much yelled at me every time that I suggested that we bring in Afghans.
The Ukrainian government didn't respond to our request for comment, but a source close to the officials in Kyiv told Semaphore that their top concern is the question of loyalty in the thick fog of war.
The biggest thing is spies. They're afraid that anybody and everybody is a Russian spy.
Shout out to some bitch I know on X, who currently has one of the best archives of all of his socials and accounts. There's a lot of other people doing good work right now. And again, I just want to clarify. I'm not trying to pretend like I've solved the case or like we know what's going on. We just have learned by now that the FBI is going to just cover everything up. And so it's up to us to try to dig everything out before they do. So that's what we're doing. And yes, it's ridiculous that that is even a set of sentences we have to say in America in 2024 when someone tries to kill the former and future president of the United States of America. And I mean, I can only imagine who might be backing up these operations to try to shoot him and who might be providing the intel and the access and the cover-ups, etc. So last thing I'll say, Ryan Routh, he's currently in custody. He was driving away in an SUV. They caught him. He's alive for now. And I just want to remind us all, Ryan Routh did not kill himself. If cameras malfunction outside of his cell, if he has a weird slipping accident, whatever happens, yeah, you know the story. 50 more days, my money's on at least one more attempt before we get there. So stay frosty, because the war machine desperately needs the wars to escalate, and they're not down with the MAGA Maha folks shutting down the wars. And they are ready to kill people, ready to assassinate, allegedly, apparently, theoretically, just jokingly, in order to perpetuate those wars.
Thoughts, sir?
Okay. I'm going to give an unpopular opinion. It's not the CIA. It's individuals in the CIA. Keep in mind, it's like an octopus. They've got their tentacles in everything. It's probably a lot more than 8, but they got their tentacles in everything, right? And so they just call on somebody who happens to be in the right spot and says, I need you to get this done. And they have no choice but to go get that thing done. And so that's why these people have assets. Those assets are going to go across FBI, CIA, name and agency, the Postal Service. They're everywhere, and that's just the federal government. That doesn't include all of the non-governmental organizations and all those other things that are out there. So is it going to be a surprise that there are some ties to the CIA on a public kind of forum? I mean, don't we think that the CIA would be more intelligent than to say, hey, I work for the CIA? So some of it smells a little fishy.
Hey, Hope.
Hey, Hope, what's going on? Thank you. I didn't see that down there. Anyways, it smells kind of fishy because it's like they're being pointed in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
Now, could that be because people are starting to look into this stuff and see who's connected to the what? Maybe we're getting some softballs in terms of, hey, here's where the problems are. But yeah, contractors. Exactly, Tracy. I do believe that this person was an asset. Obviously, he was on, what did we see yesterday? Propaganda, not only for the Azov regiment, but he was also on propaganda for BlackRock.
Or BlackRock.
BlackRock, yeah, BlackRock. So those are the things that we know that those organizations are willing to have his face on there. So they supported him. And that's where the real important thing is. But some of these other bits and pieces, it's pointing in a direction, just seems to be pointing a little bit too clearly.
Yeah.
Is what I got on that one. But yeah, we'll see how this one plays out. That's why I'm glad that Florida seems to be taking the lead on this.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
next two videos have to do with Florida. Let's go.
All right, here we go.
Want to read that real quick?
The yellow part?
Yeah.
Okay. Sheriff William Snyder questioning if Ryan Routh is part of a larger conspiracy to take out Trump.
Ready?
I mean, we kind of already know that, but yeah.
To my knowledge, does he have any ties to Mark Kennedy? I think the answer to my knowledge, the answer is no, I have no knowledge. I think what we're finding out is not from this area, which of course raises the bigger question is, how does a guy from not here get all the way to Trump International realize that the president, former president of the United States, is golfing and is able to get a rifle in that vicinity? I think that's the question the FBI, the Secret Service are laser focused on today. Is this guy part of a conspiracy? Is he a lone gunman? If he's a lone gunman, President Trump is that much safer because we have him. But if he's part of a conspiracy, then this whole thing really takes on a very ominous tone.
Miss Jenny!
Jenny!
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
You missed it, Jenny. Today's the 17th. And then there was another 17 earlier today. You missed all the frogs.
All the frogs,
All the
ma'am.
frogs. All the frogs. Oh, well, that's all right.
Okay. So thoughts.
So thoughts.
And Larry, we're glad you're here with us.
Yeah, Larry. Yeah, long time no see, man. Thanks for joining the live again. That's pretty cool. So this guy, I mean, we all kind of know that he's part of a larger conspiracy because the other person was tied to BlackRock. So what is this? This is somebody official and a law enforcement official who is, hey, Cindy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That
Appreciate
is the
that.
sweetest comment ever.
It is.
Thank
It's very
you,
nice.
Cindy. We're so glad you're here.
Yeah. Anyway, so we know that there is a connection between the two of them because both of them were on a BlackRock advertisement, right?
Yeah.
But what's important about this video of the sheriff saying that, we're investigating as to whether or not he doesn't know, but he's looking into it. I'm going to go ahead and say that he probably already knows, but as a law enforcement official overseeing an active investigation, we're probably not going to get a whole lot out of him. However, what we did get out of him is pointing to the fact that it is something that could possibly be much bigger and they're looking into it. So that's a reassurance. That is something from an official that will go into official records that somebody was looking at it. So we'll see what that really means. But I think that that's great, great news. And it's Constitution Day too. Well, happy Constitution Day, everybody.
Yes. That's important.
America.
You ready?
Yeah.
Governor Ron DeSantis explains why Florida is taking over Trump's assassination investigation.
Oh, yeah. This will be interesting.
Oh, wait.
Hey, Chachi, what's up? Let's see. Maybe feds are super broke, and one top of that, suck bad at their jobs. Oh, and on top of that, they suck at their jobs. If we had to do another 1776, it might be a cakewalk for us due to incompetency. No F-15s required to win over the government.
Are you ready?
Yeah, and I hope that they get that it's not going to work very well for them.
Yeah, I know.
And I know the military is going to side with us because at heart, that's where the military's heart is, the Constitution that they took an oath to.
I know.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Let's listen to DeSantis.
All right, let's do that.
Joining me now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. So this happened in your state. What are you going to do about it, Governor?
Well, the state of Florida is going to do our own investigation. Clearly, there were multiple violations of Florida law. We also, I think, have an interest in vindicating the truth about where this guy came from, what his motivations were. The people of our state deserve that. I don't think it's in the best interest of this country to say that agencies like the FBI and DOJ, which are trying to prosecute Trump in South Florida, they're on appeal at the 11th Circuit trying to reinstate an indictment that had been dismissed, that they're the best people to turn around and one, give us the truth about this defendant, but also to prosecute the case where they don't have as strong of jurisdictional claims. And so we are going to be doing our investigation. I'm going to have more to say on that very shortly about what precisely we're going to do. But I would note, Jesse, I've played golf with the president when he was in office at that course. It's a great golf course. That part of the property, the fifth green, the sixth hole, and then the seventh tee, that is right there up against the fence line. So the fence line is covered with shrubbery. So if you were just walking by, you couldn't really see inside. But that is clearly the biggest point of vulnerability on that course, because if you're burrowed into those shrubs, you have a pretty clear line of sight on a number of golf holes. And so when I heard that this had happened, there were kind of conflicting reports. Maybe two people were shooting at each other. They said, no, this was meant for President Trump. I immediately knew exactly what part of the course it would have been in. So how did this guy get in there? How was he able to burrow in? And yeah, we're thankful that the Secret Service agent, when he saw the muzzle of the gun, fired and caused the defendant to leave. But that guy was burrowed in there, seems like, for the rest of the night. How did that happen?
Right. Thank God for that agent. Thank God for that agent. But that course should have been swept before, and that vulnerability should have been neutralized. When you hear the Democrats talk about this, I don't personally feel that much sorrow or that much sympathy or even regret that this happened twice, Governor. How do you understand that?
I think what I saw a lot of Democrats attacking Trump today. Really didn't even give this much of a thought. They're just all out with the rhetoric all over again. And look, we'll see what this guy consumed. It seems like he was a consumer of a lot of these corporate media narratives that the Democrats propagate. We'll see. I think that's what the investigation can show. But I will say this. There's a lot of people in our society who may have a screw loose. And if you're constantly telling them that American democracy is going to end if this guy gets elected president, well, somebody is going to feel that they're justified for doing this. And so I do think the apocalyptic rhetoric has increased the threats to Donald Trump. No question about it.
Yep, because everybody wants to be a hero if you tee it up like that. Well, Governor, thank God you're investigating, and please share whatever you learn from your state's investigation. That's really important we get to the truth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thoughts?
All right. Couple of things here. One, I find it interesting that the governor is tying it to the media. That's a bold, and me personally, I feel like it would be an early play, but maybe they have some kind of evidence that they're not letting on to, but that's why they're saying this, to get these people to the people that are part of that octopus that I was talking about earlier, that they have some information on them that's not good for them. I really believe that some connections are going to be made to a lot of people, and it's going to be surprising. So I'm thankful for that. It's going to look good for Governor DeSantis. And then the other thing is that assassin's smug ass look, that smug look on his face. That was not the face of a man who thought that he was going to have any problems in his future. That was the look of a man who, that was the look on a man's face that said that I just won the lottery. And then the whole Cornholio thing that he was doing, backing up, he was giggling. He was having a good time. He thinks it's a game. I have a feeling that by the state of Florida coming in and having some of those Florida sheriffs deal with them, that it's not working out the way he thought it was going to work out. So yeah, we're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to see what's happening with him. But I truly expect to see this dude to crack in no time at all. He thinks he's, one tough cookie, but he's just another Chips Ahoy at the bottom of the jar, I guess. So there's that. Jenny says, but Hillary was saying the media needs to let everyone know how dangerous Trump is. She was. Hillary definitely has been stirring that pot. She has a lot to lose if these things don't work. Also, it kind of points to who we're going to be hearing about had some kind of connection to it. Those who have the most to lose are going to protest the loudest in this instance. And I firmly believe that Hillary is involved in this, and we'll hear about that soon. Larry says, anyone have info on Steve Mechanic? He's running for state representative for Pennsylvania. I personally do not.
Yeah.
Yeah, wish I could
would
be of more help
definitely
there.
Research though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Beyond the Lines podcast.
Yeah. They'll know.
They'll know. She's like she tries to teach constitutional classes, and she's in Pennsylvania, and she keeps abreast of all of that. So yeah, Beyond the
know.
Lines podcast. I'll see if I can't find it during the next video.
You ready?
Yep.
I understand you're lonely. I understand you've had doors closed in your face. I understand you've had people removed from your life, but chosen ones, do not think for 1 minute that God has abandoned you. See, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords has his hand on your life. What did he tell us about pruning? He said, every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away. And every branch that continues to bear fruit, he repeatedly prunes so it may bear even more fruit. The pruning process you're going through, the isolation period you're going through, is evidence that God does have a perfect plan for your life. You're in transition to the life that he's preparing for you. See, you're turning into a different person. You're turning into the very person that he originally designed you to be.
Thoughts, sir.
Changes aren't easy. Really, think about a caterpillar going into a chrysalis to come out as a butterfly on the end. Do you know what happens to that caterpillar? It literally turns itself into goo, and then it turns itself into a butterfly. So that this metamorphosis of coming out of who we were to become who we should be, and probably should have been for quite some time. But anyways, that, going through that process, it is a rebirth. Keep in mind, that's what the Bible talks about. It's a rebirth, and that what needs to be, birthed anew is what we should have been, what we could have been in terms of our relationship with our creator. And so there's going to be difficulties, but it is because of what is coming to us in the future. And things may really suck right now going on around the world and everything. But the thing is like, that's how people are waking up. So all of this is going to be uncomfortable, especially, not only are we going through our own personal growth period, but we're also watching the world grow at the same time. So it can cause a lot of tension and tension and issues, anxiety, et cetera, everything that we go through all the time, right? In regards to the fact that this world is just absolutely bat crap crazy. So it's something that builds that character. Also, it's something that we all have the ability to deal with. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
So,
you ready?
yes.
I need everyone to listen super close to this video. You ready?
Yes.
Jeffrey Epstein's alive. I want to clarify that, at least not to my knowledge. You will be hearing from Jeffrey Epstein, I think, at some point in the next 12 months. And I know the person who is going to bring it to you, and I've heard the thing myself. This is not BS.
Hey, Agent Smith, what's going on, man? Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, let's try this again.
Jeffrey Epstein's alive. I want to clarify that, at least not to my knowledge. You will be hearing from Jeffrey Epstein, I think, at some point in the next 12 months. And I know the person who is going to bring it to you, and I've heard the thing myself.
Douchey.
Well, I'm listening. She ain't talking.
He's alive.
Yeah, well, and she kind of touched on that in the very beginning.
Without divulging, the details that you can't divulge, but how big is that story, do you think?
Oh, I mean, I think it's got tentacles everywhere.
All right. So there we go. Despite interwebs problems, here we are. And we just heard a predictive programming to let us know that Epstein is going to make an appearance again. She did say the word alive, did she not?
She did.
God. Wow, that's interesting. God, has anybody ever said anything about Epstein being alive and that he turned state's evidence and that it's going to come back and bite everybody in the ass anytime in the past? Did somebody, did I say that?
Yeah, you said it.
Okay.
Literally several times.
Yeah. All right. Not that I'm trying to spike the football, but I don't know. It's a gut feeling that I was given. And if that's the gut feeling that's really the case, the edit is deceiving. Well, thank you, F. Glenn. But I do believe that Epstein is alive.
I do too.
And I believe that those tentacles do go everywhere and that we're going to see him again in the future. Just interesting. Are you still struggling with the videos over there?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Here we go. Jeez.
It's okay.
All right.
We
So,
should have said hi to
Agent Smith. Well, we haven't said hi to Agent Smith in quite some time.
Yeah. Okay. You
Let's
ready?
see. Jenny says Christian went back to watch the original from the beginning and it's different than the video. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much for keeping it honest here. But
Yes.
I still hold to the prediction that Epstein is alive.
I
and
believe he is too.
Yeah, we're going to see him again in the future. But, maybe we'll just see him and it won't be like living him. I don't know. Videos and stuff.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
Over on Pilled, Everett Home
Mhm.
says edited audio. Thank you very much. When we
Yeah,
listen.
We listen, and I appreciate y'all keeping us honest. I'd rather get called out for being wrong as opposed to give out bad info.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
But thank you all very much.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah.
Have y'all seen this video of Matthew McConaughey? Because what the fuck happened? It used to be that they never aged, and then now all of a sudden they're all aging fast. And it's the stare in his eyes. Did you peep that? The look in his eyes, like something was gone. He looks mad than a motherfucker. I'm gonna play it again. Watch the eyes. Look like he ain't never had 5 seconds of joy in his whole life in that one stare. And look, I get it. People get old, but not that fast. And his eyes, the stare. See that?
Thoughts?
Crypt Keeper. So, not a surprise if he was using the Chrome. Not a surprise at all. Kind of sad, but we expected this out of so many of the people. It almost seems like that's what you have to do to get into that world. Some chose to hold out longer than others, and I just don't think it's going to work well for them because it seems like every single time they get paraded in front of the world in a manner in which they never wanted to be seen. And it's that pride of their appearance and how they looked and everything. And I think that that's what a lot of that face was, is I don't look anything like I want to be seen like out in the real world. And it's ruining my reputation is kind of how I felt that was. But pretty interesting. And it looks like we're coming to a close. And it's interesting timing as well with everything that's been going on in New York City with all the people getting arrested and Diddy out there getting arrested as well. MAGA Ange says he could be preparing for a role, but heck, who knows these days? Yeah, he could be preparing for a role, but yeah, there's CGI out there to not have to make you look like that. Also, if you're preparing for a role and you're going to some kind of gala event, wouldn't you be happy because you're in the middle of getting big part of a big role? So just a thought. Tracy says he was mad at a reporter. He can have been mad at a reporter, but that dude just looked mad in general. He don't look like him anymore.
Yeah.
A lot of them look different now. Exactly, Jenny. They do. They do look a lot different. That look on his face, though, looks like he was, not happy.
Exactly, and it's not just that he didn't look happy. It's that he looked sunken in. He didn't look right.
And the bone structure looked right. Like I zoomed in, like his hair pattern looked right and all that other stuff. So I don't think it was like a clone or anything. All right. Are you all right? All right. All right. And it's kind of just asking for a friend. Anyways.
Right.
Yeah. So, yep. Yeah, just keep your eye on that one.
Exactly, Jenny. Exactly.
Central Casting. He had his hair. He had his fix in a while.
Hadn't had his fix.
Oh, he has not had his fix in a while. There we go.
Mhm. I think a lot of that's happening.
I think that's happening too.
How about some Kelly?
Yeah, we could use some Kelly.
Let's listen to Kelly.
All right, Kelly's
I'm
awesome.
going to show you something in the Bible today that I bet you've never caught before. There's a verse that we've been reading for years like it's a Christmas scripture, but in reality, it may be one of the most powerful scriptures in the entire Bible. Now, I know that you've read it, but did you really get it? You see, I'm talking about Luke 2:14. That says, "Glory to God in the highest, peace on earth and goodwill towards men." Yeah, the Christmas scripture. But hold on a second. Let's look at what's happening here. The reason we consider this a Christmas scripture is because this is happening when Jesus is being born. You've got these shepherds out in the field, and an angel comes to them and says this line, "Glory to God in the highest, peace on earth and goodwill towards men." Oh, that is so good. Did you catch that? I mean, has anybody ever asked you why it seems like there's a mean God in the Old Testament and a loving God in the New Testament? I just don't understand your God, man. He's mean and then he's nice. Which one is it? Make up your mind. First, you have to understand God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. But sin has consequences. Sin separates us from God, and he is a just God. A price has to be paid for sin. And this is why this verse is so good. You see, before Jesus came to the earth, there was no sacrifice for our sins. And we as humans experienced God's wrath to the full effect. However, when Jesus came, oh, that changed everything. You see, what God is saying in this verse is now that Jesus is here, there can be peace on earth and goodwill towards men. God is saying we need to celebrate today because Jesus came to pay the price for you. And then when Jesus died on the cross, he paid that price. So now we get to receive goodwill and peace from God. The greatest news in all the world is that the wrath of God was satisfied on the cross with Jesus Christ. So now you and I don't have to experience the wrath of God when we sin because Jesus paid for it all. Yeah, we're still going to sin and make mistakes, but the wrath of God was satisfied. Your sins are now fully paid for. There are people who actually believe that God is just waiting for them to mess up so that he can punish them. But this couldn't be further from the truth. Your sins do have consequences, but that's not God just looking to punish you. You've already been forgiven, and now God wants to love you through the repentance process. Look, if I tell my son not to go up on the roof and jump off the house because I know it will hurt him, if he jumps off and breaks his leg, how ridiculous would it be for him to tell the paramedics, "My dad punished me for jumping off the roof. My dad told me not to. I broke my leg. He punished me." I didn't punish you, boy. That's just what happens. In fact, I love you. I hate to see you going through this pain, and I'll love you through the entire healing process. That's the way this works. So let me encourage you today. If you feel like God is just waiting for you to mess up so he can punish you, that's the devil whispering in your ear. And you can tell that sucker to go. There is peace for you and God's goodwill. Don't think of this as just a Christmas scripture ever again. This should bring some peace and freedom into your life today. We serve a loving God who made a way for us to experience that love every single day. Yeah, we're still going to make mistakes, but Jesus paid for that for you. And think about that for a minute.
About sir.
It's an excellent way to put that, and it kind of brings to the forefront, we have been forgiven, and it's easy to forgive that sometimes, especially when things aren't going, according to whatever.
Like this morning.
Exactly, like this morning. But at the same time, everything happened the way he wanted it to happen, just because it didn't happen the way we thought it was supposed to happen. And
it happened the way he wanted it to happen.
And that works out. And obviously, we're happy with it. But we also have to keep in mind that when we do make mistakes, we are going to get punished. And it's not going to feel like, that we are in his good graces, but things are going to happen. And sometimes we don't even recognize how far we need to grow. And so it may feel like I'm doing everything right, but we end up, keep on making mistakes because it's in our blind spot. We don't recognize because everything's so normalized in today's society. And that becomes one of the problems as to why people go further away from God, because they feel like, I'm doing everything. And so we get, stuck. Yeah. Get behind me, Satan, not today.
Exactly. And if you ever want to tell God a joke, tell him your plans.
Yeah, right. So, recognize that these reproofs that we get are to help us grow, and we need to understand what's going on and why things happen. That's just part of our growth process. That's why we're here, is to grow into beings the way he intended us to be. So, you know what? Recognize that you are forgiven and go with that joy, because that's what the real message is. It's supposed to go forward with joy in our hearts because we know that he loves us and that we are forgiven. So, yeah, try to find that joy. Oh, and hey, Everett, thanks for joining us. Did the sacrifice to God before Yeshua was born? Usually animals, sometimes men, women, and children. It's not the men, women, and children as much.
That was to Baal.
That was yeah, to the other gods, and then part of that is that those were the people that they were trying to get rid of, were like the Moloch worshipers, because you can't have that persist kind of mentality.
Right.
And keep in mind, this was thousands of years ago, so different rules for different peeps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yep.
You're gonna love this one.
All right.
We need funny, so I got funny.
All right, here we go.
There is a comment that I received that describes every single American ever. I'm going to show you the comment right now. If this doesn't describe every single American, I don't know what does. Facts. Americans live to beat the time the GPS says, and they will beat it, mate. Do you know how scary that is for a Brit? To get in a car with an American, right? And an American will race like it's the F1, mate, to beat that time. It's like a game to Americans. It's fun. Not for me. Hanging on to me seatbelt for dear life, mate. Americans are thrill seekers, and they will find thrill in anything. Every single American that I've encountered is like this. And my British heart can't simply take it, mate. It's going 1,000,000 miles an hour. Why is every American like this? Every single American I've encountered, when in a car with them, they will do their best, their utmost to beat that arrival time. And guess what? They will. They will beat it, mate. I promise you.
Every time we get in the car to go see Santino's dad in Amarillo, Santino wants to see how quick he can do it this time. Not what the GPS says, but based on
the GPS takes
one.
forever. Takes forever. Oh my God, it takes forever. And it's a long trip. And it's not the only. I mean, but he's right. Americans
we do it.
Have that,
We
thing
do it when
about
we
them.
go see our daughter.
It's time to beat. It's not like, that's like
She lives in
if
the
you ain't
same
first,
town.
you're last kind of mentality.
I mean,
don't know.
that's just.
It is something innate about Americans, though, isn't it?
Mhm.
I mean, we're competitive. There's nothing wrong with that.
I agree, Jenny.
He must drive like a grandma. I can only imagine how the Brits drive.
Yeah,
First of all, they don't even drive on the right side of the road. Weirdos.
I know they're all messed up.
Yeah. Uh-oh. I said something bad about the UK. Are they going to send one of their bobbies after us?
F them.
Anyway.
How about some Tucker?
All right, let's hear some Tucker.
Let's go.
What Trump said about people eating pets. And there were two levels on which to enjoy this. Well, the first one, I literally enjoyed it. People were like, I can't believe Donald Trump accused people of eating pets. I was like, I love him. It's just hilarious. Who would ever say that? They're eating all the pets. So great. Thank you, Donald Trump. That was awesome. Because first of all, it makes all the right people mad. Like anyone getting red in the face over pet eating. That's not true. That's never happened. No one's ever eaten a pet. Okay. You just outed yourself. You're a liar. So that's the first thing. The second thing is now we're talking about eating pets. And so now that we are, let me just count myself as opposed. Note that if PETA doesn't endorse Trump in the next 24 hours, they're totally fraudulent. I'm serious. People have run for president in this country since the 1780s. Has any presidential candidate ever taken an unequivocal stand against pet eating? None. PETA's been waiting its entire life for this, and they still won't endorse.
But
we already knew that PETA was a fraud.
Yeah.
They take out more animals than any other shelter in the world. So, yeah.
It's okay, Ange. I get it. You have embraced your old lady slow down. I knew gas pedal
Slow
on the
down.
right. The one thing that bugged me about driving was the first time I turned down the radio so I could see the street sign better. That pissed me off.
It was
I was
hilarious.
so mad at myself for doing that.
It was hilarious.
I still drive fast though. I'm not gonna lie.
A little bit.
A little bit.
I mean, obviously within the confines of the
law, the stated
rules
law.
of the road, of course.
Yes.
Anyway,
thoughts? Sucking on back to Tucker.
Saki on back to Tucker over there. So yeah, PETA's a fraud. We knew this already. They unalive more animals than any other shelter on the planet. So yeah, that's just a great point that everybody needs to hear. Is where is your PETA? Oh well, it's not happening. Why is there police body cam footage of some lady with fur on her mouth? Come on, the information's out there. It's on the police blotter.
Mm-hmm.
You can find it.
Yep. Speaking of Springfield, let's
Okay.
go.
Joy.
I'm gonna throw an emergency right back to you. You have to know by now how angry this city is becoming because of this refugee problem. They take a dump wherever they want. You cannot go to a city park or you're stepping in it. You cannot buy produce at our grocery stores because they're taking handfuls out of it. I saw one gentleman hold an armload of things, so he didn't have a free hand, took a bag of grapes, dug his face in, took a big bite, put it back on the shelf. This is non-stop. Every time we go to the grocery, every single person I know, I don't think you understand how angry this city is. And I know you have to know an angry city is not going to sit still very.
Thoughts, sir?
I don't think the signs change, Ange,
I know.
but hilarious nonetheless. So, this is the beauty of what President Trump did.
Hurry up, Jenny. We're going to miss you.
Anyway, so this is the beautiful thing of what President Trump did is he started the conversation. We're listening to a city council meeting that we normally wouldn't have been listening to because of the fact that, well, there's some weird things going on with migrants over there in Springfield. I'm glad that it's coming out. It's terrible that these people are going through it, but it is driving the community closer together. And I think that that's important. Got you. Fair enough, Everett. Let's see. Got a Saki on back here. It's the conversation that needs to be had. These are the things we need to talk about because these are not things that citizens do to other citizens. They are not acting like citizens.
No.
Therefore, they should not be. I mean, look, I get it. There's awful places out there, and people need a chance to get out of those terrifying places. Clearly, they're acting like this because that's what they're used to. That's something we're not used to here. These are the things that the government is supposed to be protecting us from, but they're wasting our tax dollars and causing all of these problems. So what's the real plan here? What are we actually getting at? The actual plan is to bring all these people in here, give them money every single month, and then after the election, they cut off all the funds, and these people lose their mind and they decide that it's time to take America over for themselves. That's how I see it going. You know, they've been giving them all this stuff, the land of plenty. Look, you get all this money, free houses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now they yank the rug out from underneath them, and then they watch the fireworks happen. That's what I believe the plan is. That one makes the most amount of sense. Everett says, the more I research and learn, the more I veer towards not all of the Old Testament is referring to God, while the New Testament is all about.
And I agree, Steph. They do want to destroy America.
They do want to destroy America because they want people who are willing to work for nothing because that's what they're used to. And then they get a whole bunch of free stuff. They get basically people who are willing to do whatever for a couple of bucks for an increased standard of living of what they're used to. And it promises, hopes and promises is what it's always, filled around. But it's hollow promises.
Mm-hmm. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
We got 3 more on Springfield.
Oh, Lord. Yes, exactly, Steph.
So I live in Springfield. There's the water tower. A lot of people are asking what's really going on here. And I can tell you that 3 years ago, we had a very large population of stray cats, and now they are gone. You don't see any cats. Our visitors are kind of violent. You know, you'll see them threatening people. They've threatened my family with machetes. It's not a safe place. Most of the stuff that the people are saying to City Hall are true. If you put 2 and 2 together, you can figure some stuff out. But it's definitely not somewhere you want to be.
Thoughts?
Sad. Extremely sad that this is what these people are going through. You know, it's the fact that they took advantage of people's good nature and said, oh, okay, we're going to do these things because this is what good people do. And so they disarmed themselves. And then these evil people drop a whole bunch of what do you call them? Migrants from a nation where things are unrecognizable in terms of like the veneer of society and how it works. And so now these people don't have the ability to defend themselves against this very different kind of culture that's been thrown in their lap against their will. They were never asked. It just happened. And now everything's changing. Yes, there may have been a large stray cat population, and these people cleaned it out. Look, it's not a great thing. You know, one of the things that actually that they found out about the plague was that the cats kept it away because they ate all the mice.
Mm-hmm.
So we have all of these things happening.
I will say this: mess with my fur babies,
Oh yeah,
and I will smile in my mugshot.
Well, yeah, Nevada's a different kind of state, though. There's a lot of people here who are willing to defend and utilize their
Everything.
castle doctrine
Mhm.
that is in the homeowner's favor here.
Do not mess with my babies.
Well, I get it.
Ugh.
Anyway.
Okay, more on Springfield.
Oh my God.
Can you read this down here, please?
CNN defends Haitians overrunning Springfield, but takes offense that citizens use overrun.
Ready?
Whatever.
Some of these citizens have testified in front of the city council saying that it's really chaos, that there's been cars burning, cars flipped, that they feel unsafe in their community. Keep in mind, this is just failed federal policy. This is a community about 60,000 people. I'm from Ohio, about 30 or 40 minutes from Springfield. This is a community that has a poverty rate of about 20%, very working community. And so federal policy led, while these are illegal migrants, this is 20,000 people coming into a community of 60,000 people being completely overrun. It doesn't matter if they're migrants from Haiti or California. The schools are being overrun. The social services are being overrun. That is poor federal planning.
Just to be clear, I mean, when you use terms like overrun, I think that's actually part of the problem. I mean, Governor Mike DeWine has talked about this. First of all, he's confirmed in his understanding there's no evidence of this whole thing with pets. But he also made the point that these people are coming into this town. Yeah, there are a lot of them, but they're filling jobs that were open, jobs that were not being filled until they got there. And that the employers are saying they're good workers, they're hard workers, we need them. And so overrun, I think, is a turn of phrase that is designed to make people feel like there is some kind of
That's what the citizens are saying. That's what the citizens on the ground are saying. That's not my words, that's theirs. So let's also listen to these people's concerns. I don't think it's
Stand up.
pick apart rhetoric. When these people
You need a
are having real
spine.
problems.
Heifer needs a spine. Chachi says, I can't wait till MSM propagandists get their due punishment for treason.
Amen, Chachi.
Amen. I agree. So, just real quick, the definition of overrun. First definition is to spread over or occupy a place in large numbers. Think that applies. Sorry you don't like words, but words must be used. It's overrun. It's overrun because there's a town of how many? 60 or 80?
Whatever they say.
Even if it was 80 and then they dump 20,000 people there, that's 25% increase. That's overrun. That is overrun by a population. And like the milquetoast lady that was trying to distance herself from the word overrun, she should have stood up for herself, and they're overrun. Stop with your word games. It's crap. And then the other definition is continue beyond or above an expected or allowed time or cost. So I think that the migrants have overrun everything over there, especially in Springfield. Everett says the powers that be have been pushing towards a race war, but they couldn't get it done, so they bring in a third group to strain the resources.
Amen.
I agree that to strain the resources and to act as the force that they are having difficulty assembling because their plans have been thwarted. I do truly believe that there is a plan in place and that these people really don't have an idea. Do we have anything about the pagers in Israel? No? Okay. Just evil genius, but the Israelis, I guess they somehow got a whole bunch of pagers into Hezbollah's like entire group, and all the pagers exploded today, and a lot of people were injured. Some are deceased that belong to that organization. And then there was even an Iranian ambassador or something, a part of the Iranian ambassador to Palestine or something like that. He got injured because he had one as well. So we can expect to hear a lot more out of that. There will probably be an escalation over there in Israel. But I do believe that that same mindset is the very same mindset that will help us get rid of all of the people who have been brought over here illegally as part of a human trafficking scheme. All of these people who have been brought over here for all sorts of reasons. I do believe that they have been tracking these people, and we'll be able to clean this country out in a very quick period of time. And I think that that's how President Trump is going to be able to follow through with his promises of being able to clean up the country very quickly.
Yeah. So, can you read this down here?
Yes. Yes. Leftists blame Trump Vance for Springfield
Say it.
bomb threats, but all were hoaxes coming from overseas.
Ready?
What a surprise. Yep.
Least 33 separate bomb threats, each one of which has been responded to, and each one of whom has been found as a hoax. So 33 threats, 33 hoax. I will make that very, very clear. None of these had any validity at all. We know that people are very, very concerned, and we have taken some actions, and in a moment I'll let Andy Wilson go into more detail. But we've moved resources into Springfield. So I want to say to the parents in Springfield, these hoaxes, these threats have all been hoaxes. None of them have panned out. We have people, unfortunately, overseas who are taking these actions. Some of them are coming from one particular country. We think that this is, one more opportunity to mess with the United States, and they're continuing to do that. So we cannot let the bad guys win. Our schools must remain open.
He looks like a turtle to me.
Turtle.
Thoughts?
Okay, so thoughts. It sounds like that they're trying to deal with the threats that are there. It's sad that Springfield is going through this. They're losing their unique town's culture because of this. But the investigations are going on. We will see how this pans out. The town really is overrun, and thank God President Trump brought it up during the debate. They fact checked it right away, and we know how their fact checks always work out. They seem to be pointing away from the truth, and in true fashion, and it surprise turns out that President Trump was right again. Larry says, I saw the videos, body parts missing and deep holes in their bodies. That's awful.
It is awful.
It is awful.
It's so awful. How about something good?
Yeah, please. Are we done with?
We're done with Springfield.
Springfield, my heart goes out to you.
Yeah.
All y'all's.
Yeah. There's Miss Jan.
Graham Jam. Hey, Jan. How you doing?
Okay.
All right.
Let's do something good.
All right, here we go. Need good.
I know the plans that I have for you. plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. How hard is this to understand, to believe when you're in the middle of that storm? How hard is it to walk by faith and not by sight? How hard is it to trust in the Lord and lean not on your own understanding when you're going through the thick of it, when everything seems to be falling apart around you? So why is this so hard to believe? Because we want control. We want to control our destiny. We want to control everything and make sure everything goes the way that we want, because we want our plan. We forget about his plan. When you try to control the situation yourself, especially when you're in the middle of a storm, you tend to make things worse. I know this from personal experience. There's one particular storm that I went through that I tried for the longest time to control the situation myself, to make things better myself, to interject my will in what was going on, and it always, without fail, made it worse. It wasn't until I truly let go and said, God, fine, take it, really, truly, take it, it's yours. I can't do this anymore because every time I try, I screw it up. It wasn't until that, it was going on for 2 years, within a month, when I finally let go and let him have it. He executed his plan, and he did what he wanted done. He showed everybody involved in that situation what he wanted to show them, and that was it. If you are struggling today with anything that's going on in your life, with understanding the will that he has for you, the path that he has you on, the things that are going on in your life, give it to him. Give it to him, get in his word, read his promises, believe that he has a better future in store for you, and know that his ways are greater than our ways, and that he loves you, and that he wants the best for you, and that his will is so much better than ours.
Not, sir.
Gosh, it's been a while since we talked about letting go and having that faith. I have been learning this lately and letting go of what I think is control. It's difficult. It's a difficult process where we don't even recognize when we are actually trying to control a situation. It's kind of funny in the end, but that's how we learn, because things as part of our plans don't work, kind of like today, but whatever else is going to happen. And so we can't get upset about the reason that things didn't, or we can't get upset because things didn't go the way we wanted to. That is us trying to control a situation. That's where we need to take a step back and listen to what we're being told, so that way we can follow the path that's being presented to us. And it's a difficult, it is a difficult like process to go through, because you don't always recognize what you're being told. And in the absence of any kind of guidance, our human instinct is to try to plan, okay, well, I got to do something, so let's try this, let's try that. And meanwhile, we're being given some kind of sign or something like that. Hey, you should do this. Maybe not a sign. Sometimes it's in a thought. It's like, oh, maybe we should do this instead. And so we need to make sure that we're listening to those things and really considering our gut feelings, our thoughts, our spidey senses. They tell us all of these things, and we need to remember that. And that's how we stop trying to do our will and do his will instead, as far as I could tell. Jan says, it's the hardest human thing to do is to give everything up to God. Yes, Jan.
Because
I can confirm, because I'm not there yet.
Because we always forget control is an illusion.
Control is an illusion. Yeah.
Because we think we can handle it. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Want to read this yellow part?
Biden FBI jackboots show up at Jeremy Kaufman's doorstep. They messed with the wrong dude.
And here's Jeremy Kaufman. He is a cryptocurrency person. And what was Trump talking about last night?
Crypto. Isn't that interesting?
Let's listen.
All right.
Hey, how can I help you?
Hey there, Jeremy?
Yeah.
How are you?
Who are you?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Can you give your full name, please?
I'm Agent O'Donnell with the FBI.
Is that sufficient to identify as the only one O'Donnell affiliated with the FBI?
In New Hampshire, yes.
Could you please state your full name, sir?
Could you please stop recording?
No. It's First Amendment right.
Okay.
What's your name, sir? Absolutely not. You can show me your name and identification, or I'm going to go back inside my house.
I don't really want to broadcast my.
Oh, this is going out right after you guys walk away.
So that's why I'm not going to.
So you can show me your name or ID. You can walk away.
We just want to talk.
I'm not going to talk to people who claim to be federal agents unless they can show me identification.
You see our badges?
I need to see. Is your full name on that badge?
No.
I'd like to see something with your full name, or I'm not going to talk to you.
I prefer you not to broadcast it.
This will be going online as soon as you walk away.
All I want to do is talk to you about a post that was made, and if you happen to be the one that made it.
I want to talk to you about you guys coming here. Say you make a salary of, I don't know what, low 100K? You guys making six figures? Factor in 50% expenses, overhead, maybe 100% expenses. Talking about burning a couple $100 an hour just here, let alone all the time you guys are spending to investigate something that you know is not against the law, right? Like you're familiar with. So then why would you come?
Because we wanted to make sure that there weren't any.
No, you're coming because you're part of a regime that does this kind of thing when you know laws aren't being broken. And that's an embarrassment, man. Didn't you guys read the Constitution? Do you not believe in America? Like, how do you do your jobs and go home?
We appreciate it.
You're walking away. Because nothing we did is against the law. And you guys are fuckheads that try to act like bullies. And I hope you go home and are embarrassed. You can't even say your name on camera because you know that what you're doing is embarrassing. You know Americans that believe in the Constitution think you're laughable. And you go home and you think about what you did today. Go home and think about it, you cowards. Drive away. Drive away.
Thank you for your time.
You're not welcome. You should be embarrassed. Embarrassing. You guys are embarrassing.
Thoughts?
So they are supposed to show their identification. I have no idea why they didn't show their identification. What, because they don't want to be seen? Again, First Amendment right. I mean, he was a little snarky about the whole thing, but at the same time, if they're not going to follow through and do what they're supposed to do, how are you supposed to know? We have a badge. Well, you can buy one of those online. Oh, surprise, surprise. Somebody can buy a badge online. Not that they can't buy the identification either, a fake identification, let alone print up something, because it's not like really anybody knows what the hell their identification looks like to begin with. But the fact that they didn't want to show anything makes it even more suspicious. I found it kind of amusing that the guy on the left had kind of a chuckle out of the whole thing. He seems to believe that the whole thing was funny. I don't understand what he thought was funny about the entire scenario. After all, they're coming up to somebody's house so that way they can, interrogate, ask some questions. He admitted he did nothing against the law. So why the hell are you there? Why are you wasting the taxpayers' dollars talking to somebody that didn't do anything against the law? What's the point? What's the concept? What are you supposed to do? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense to me at all. So yeah, I guess we'll just see how all this turns out. But yeah, over something he posted too. Exactly, Jenny. He just posted something.
He does cryptocurrency, Tracy.
Yeah, he's a crypto guy, and I do find the timing to be a little bit interesting with the fact that that we've been hearing about crypto because of the assassination attempt. So again, more crypto information. Looks like that's the direction we're going.
Exactly. You ready?
Yep.
Want to go ahead and read that?
Dan Bongino, is the Secret Service compromised? Is there a mole? I believe so.
Let's go.
All right. Let's see what Dan says.
We know people have tried to socially engineer their way to get access to the Secret Service. Is there a mole? Why would I bring that up? Folks, what happened yesterday in Secret Service jargon, the movement to the golf course, Donald Trump going to play golf at the golf course, is what we call an OTR. Stands for an off-the-record movement, meaning it's not on the official schedule, meaning very few people have access to it. What makes me even more curious about what happened yesterday is apparently the decision to golf was made the last minute, meaning there were probably, when the decision was made, less than 10 people who knew about it. How'd this guy know how to set up there? Folks, this alleged shooter is not from here. When I say here, I only live about 20 miles away from where this maybe 30 miles away from where this golf course is. I've been there. I know it. The subject was arrested by our sheriff in Martin County, Bill Snyder, and his guys, who are awesome. So when you hear Martin County, that's where I live. I know this area as well as anyone. Guy's lived here a while too. We were talking about it this morning. Nobody knows this better than us. He was not from here. Maybe at the end of that, but he was not from here. How did he know how to set up and where to set up and that Trump was going to be there? Folks, the mole may not be a foreign national themselves. I don't want you to think Jason Bourne stuff. Don't overcomplicate what doesn't need to be overcomplicated. Is there a honeypot trap going on in the Secret Service? Is there a guy or a woman in the Secret Service having a relationship with someone who is not who they say they are? The Iranians have been running these traps in Israel and elsewhere. The Iranians who want to kill President Trump and have a documented multi-year history of trying to get a long-range sniper threat against President Trump. Folks, how do we know that there's not some kind of honeypot trap and that some agent or some DHS personnel, someone who has to be notified, is not in a relationship with someone? It is time to start asking serious questions. The hack propagandist media, which has already forgotten about Donald Trump being shot in the head just a couple months ago, absolutely refuses to ask, but I'm going to ask it. There was an incident when I was there in training, and I'm telling you, the quality control here when it comes to spy stuff. Hey, let me forget that story for a minute. Pull this one up. Pull the one up on me and the guy in the Moscow thing, the spy, the Moscow. But just put in Secret Service spy, Russian Embassy, Moscow. I want to show you something I was involved in. The quality control, once you get on the job, ladies and gentlemen, is not there. If there was an agent who has been infiltrated and compromised, folks, it is almost impossible that the Secret Service would know. Here, thank you. Put that up on the screen. I'm going to tell you this story again. Media people, get your mother pens out. I was there. Look at this story in The Guardian from 2018. Suspected Russian spy found working at the U.S. Embassy in Moscow. Ladies and gentlemen, I know this spy personally. Why? Because we outed her. How, Dan, in 2018? You left the job in 2011. Exactly. How did you out her? Because I was in Moscow. Damn right. I was in Moscow in 2005 with this spy. And we sent an email to people in power on a temporary assignment to Moscow. This woman's a freaking spy. The email's out there. Someone should FOIA it. And you know what they told us? Keep your mouth shut. She's not a spy. We're working with her. Trust us. She's a spy. That's our story. Oh, you think I'm making it up? Media people, Dan Arkin, grow a pair of balls. FOIA the Secret Service for any emails sent about the Moscow embassy and the woman working in there. Her name was Anna. Around that time. You'll see I'm right. No one wants to ask this question. Has the Secret Service been compromised? How did he know to set up there, folks? Do you want to know how OTRs work? Again, media folks, take notes. The way an off-the-record movement works is there are very few people who are read in on the program. The reason being, the old way of securing an off-the-record movement in contrast to a scheduled, so let me give you an example so I'm not talking in jargon. A Trump rally with 10,000 people is going to be a scheduled on-the-record movement. The security plan is going to be different for that. If, say, the president wants to stop at a lemonade stand on the way back and buy some lemonade for a photo op, that's called an OTR. It's not on the schedule. They usually flip the script last minute. OTRs can be really dangerous off-the-record movements because there's almost never as much security there. Now, why do we let them do it then? Because, as I've said to you 1,000 times on this show over the course of 10 years, the logic behind an off-the-record movement is if we didn't know we were going there, then the jackal doesn't know either. The jackal's always a Secret Service jargon term for the assassin from the movie you know about, right? However, here's the problem now. The OTR security plan, which is lighter than an on-the-record movement security plan, it's time to throw that out. You know why? 10, 15 years ago, Twitter wasn't as popular. These things weren't as popular. Cell phones didn't have these special mega zoom-ins that are better than regular cameras. Now, President Trump goes to golf. Within seconds, the whole world knows. OTRs, the security, pardon my language, is shit. And you know what the Secret Service is going to say? Instead of evolving their OTR, off-the-record movement security plan, this whole golf course should have been shut down, period. You know what they're going to say to management? Well, that's the way we've always done it. And it failed. This guy, I think, was connected to some larger network. And I think there may be some mole here. I could be wrong later, but I'm giving you both sides of it. He's not from here. This guy is not from this area. It's really weird that he would come in here and know exactly that spot and have a good vibe that he was not going to be detected in any kind of pre-operation surveillance by the Secret Service. Was he tipped off that he was going to be there? Is there a state actor involved? Are the Iranians involved somehow? I don't know. But the media, it's their job, and they won't do it, to be asking questions right now.
Thoughts, sir?
I got a picture of them all.
Okay.
There he is, right there. Wouldn't it be something if the mole that's found has a giant mole like all Austin Powers? Like, that would be amazing.
I can't with you today.
I know, and that's okay. I love you anyways. So it only makes sense that there's some kind of information being shared to be able to allow these kinds of close encounters to happen within rifle range. Right. So within a rifle range, that should be taken care of for somebody who's a former president of the United States, regardless. So that means that somebody has some information that they shouldn't be having, then that they have the ability to do a recon on the site, that they have the ability to get the person in place to be able to do the attempt. And it's been able to happen on more than one occasion with our knowledge at this point. Right. And so close to where he's at. So I agree with Bongino, and I hope his sinus issue gets cleared up quick because those things suck. Anyway, the fact that this person knew where to go and knew where to hide, it's just there's just a lot there that just doesn't seem right. So there has to be somebody in there passing information. And it really could be, I have a feeling, kind of like what Bongino said in the beginning, could be part of a honeypot operation. You know, some of these people, they're not able to have a home life because they're always moving around. They're never able to be home. So they're looking for some loving in all the wrong places. And then they end up finding themselves getting compromised by, some kind of agent. That's something to be very concerned about. And that's something that would make these kinds of scenarios more capable or open up the exposure to President Trump by having somebody in the Secret Service. So it only makes sense to me at this point in time, and I have a feeling that we will find out sometime in the near future because, well, they keep digging themselves a hole, and Florida's going knee deep in terms of trying to find out what's going on. Jan says, how could he be out there for 12 hours waiting if it was a last minute golf game, not on any schedule? And see, that's another one of those things that kind of stinks a little bit, but also you might be Trump. From what I understand, he will frequently go play golf on Sunday at his course there in Miami. Now, if he does it more than 50% of the weekends that he hasn't flown out already, then you have over a 50% shot that he's going to go golfing. So you put an asset out there, and if they know how to keep quiet and wait for the right time, hey, Rambo, thanks for joining, man. Know to, put somebody there, better to take or better to be ready and not be able to execute a plan than not be able to execute or not be ready and having had the
Better
opportunity.
be prepared and not
have
the opportunity
then
rather than to have the opportunity and not be prepared.
Exactly. And that's what the mentality boils down to. Not that I'm encouraging these assholes to take out President Trump by any means of the imagination. But what I'm saying is they understand that principle as well, that you want to be ready for an opportunity that may present itself. Yeah. And if they were paying this guy, also keep in mind with his little Corn Julio bit, thinking he was all hilarious and everything, giggling when the cops were arresting him, that smart, snarky smile or smug smile on his face as he was sitting there in the cop car tells me that he felt that, he had nothing to worry about, which means that he felt that he was going to be out already, and maybe he's getting a little bit of extreme rendition right now. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we won't. That's kind of how those things work.
Yep. You ready?
Yep.
Go ahead and read that yellow part.
Flashback. Less than a year ago, Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman said Trump has to be eliminated. No way.
Let's go.
It's just unquestionable at this point that man cannot see public office again. He is not only unfit, he is destructive to our democracy, and he has to be eliminated.
One, we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic. And two, go fuck yourself. Thoughts?
How was he able to get away with saying that? Because I know that conservatives were getting locked up for saying anything nowhere close to as much of a threat as to what he said. Absolute surprise.
He did. He did,
Jan
Jan.
says, well, he thought the FBI was going to be getting him.
But DeSantis squashed that shit, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, in terms of the assassin. Yeah. DeSantis ruined that little plan. That's why I think that's why I think, my God, I'm struggling today. That's why I believe that there's a lot more information coming out and that people are in panic mode over there that are part of this giant octopus that has its tentacles all over the place. And in terms of what the video we just watched with the guy saying that President Trump has to be eliminated, how is that even acceptable in modern discourse, especially based off of the standard that's set for people that are against or that are for President Trump? That standard is beyond believable in terms of how we're supposed to be able to communicate or how we're supposed to communicate the things that need to be communicated, yet they're able to say that you can eliminate somebody. Yeah, that's not right. That's not the way things are supposed to be done in this nation. That's not the proper discourse. So I believe that that individual is very liable for people and these kinds of incidents that are going on from these very mentally deranged people that they keep picking to do these kinds of assassination attempts. Yeah, I believe the press is very responsible for their words, just as responsible as we would have been held to account for. Chachi says, I don't think he's going to get away with saying it. I don't think he's going to get away with saying it either. Larry says, White Hat staged event to expose how corrupt the three-letter agencies are to the American public. I believe that there's a lot of that going on with all of this. There's a lot of it that's just a little bit too perfect, too movie-like for it to be as coincidental as it is.
You ready?
Yeah.
You want to read that?
Leon Panetta,
No.
Liz Cheney.
Down here.
College bro wanted to be convinced to vote for Trump.
You ready?
Yeah.
And it's Charlie Kirk.
There we go.
So I tend to lean liberal on a lot of issues, and I'm kind of torn on the election.
I want to try to win you over as a liberal for Donald Trump. So you're going to give me a chance, okay?
I will, sir.
All right, okay. There are three things I want you to think about when voting for Trump. Number one, home ownership. I imagine you want to own a home sometime in your life, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. In order to own a home, you would have to make $125,000 a year right now just to be able to get the mortgage. When Trump was president, it was $75,000 a year. Because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have spent $6 to $7 trillion of unnecessary federal spending, which have inflated asset prices. The border. Under Donald Trump, the southern border was the most secure it was in American history, with border crossings at an all-time low. Under Kamala Harris, 10 million people have come across the southern border into this country. We have no idea who they are. They're coming into our communities. As a liberal, I imagine you don't like war, right? Under Donald Trump, it was the first president in 40 years where we had no new wars. So think about who is endorsing Kamala Harris. Dick Cheney, Leon Panetta, Liz Cheney. These are the warmongers of 20 years ago that got us into these wars. And this is why we're seeing Bobby Kennedy, Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, people that are card-carrying Democrats vote for Trump, because what's happening at the Democrat Party is it's a party of censorship, it's a party of war, a party of open borders that is against actual traditional liberal values.
I agree.
So which way are you leaning?
Can I get a hat?
That's a good answer. Thanks, man. God bless. Thank you.
Ain't that interesting? So the God, it seemed like a real softball to me, but it was good. It was a good opportunity. I don't know if that guy really looked like a Democrat just based off his build and mannerisms and everything. But despite that, yeah, I already popped those up. Despite that, it was a great layout of what's really going on, especially for people that are Democrats. And this is why it's getting easier for the Democrats to want to go ahead and bail out on the party that they've been members of, card carrying members of, their entire lives. They were bought and sold on the plantation. And now, like he said, Tulsi Gabbard, RFK Jr., all of these Democrats are coming over and they're endorsing Trump. So what does that say? Well, that says that Trump isn't the same. Trump himself was a Democrat. He even said himself, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democratic Party left me. and it left the rest of the voters. And that still applies, and it's getting that way more and more each and every day.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
President Trump was a Democrat.
But the party left him.
Oh yeah, the party left its principles a long time ago, and they became, oh look, this is a real money pot of gold for us over here, and they got corrupted. Sadly, they got corrupted. Not saying that the Republicans didn't get corrupted as well. We know that there's corruption all over the place. It's just sad that that's how far we've fallen. But you know what? This is kind of what happens when we lose our good moral compass.
Exactly.
We get to see what it's like to not have one.
Exactly. You ready?
Yep.
Want to read this down here?
Elon Musk explains once in a lifetime opportunity if Trump wins.
Let's go.
If Trump wins, and obviously I suspect there are people with mixed feelings about whether that should happen, but we do have an opportunity to do kind of a once in a lifetime deregulation and reduction in the size of government. Because the other thing, besides the regulations, America is also going bankrupt extremely quickly. And everyone seems to be sort of whistling past the graveyard on this one. But
they're all grabbing the silverware. Everyone's stuffing their pockets in the silverware before the Titanic sinks. It's like,
well, the Defense Department budget is a very big budget. Okay, it's $1 trillion a year. DoD Intel, it's $1 trillion. And interest payments on the national debt just exceeded the Defense Department budget. But they're over $1 trillion a year, just in interest, and rising. We're adding $1 trillion to our debt, which our kids and grandkids are going to have to pay somehow. Every 3 months, and then soon it's going to be every 2 months, and then every month, and then the only thing we'll be able to pay is interest. And if this is, it's just it's just like a person at scale that has racked up too much credit card debt, and this does not have a good ending. And so we have to reduce the spending.
let me ask one.
Thoughts?
We do have to reduce the spending, but I think that that's why Trump is setting up the team that he's setting up, because there still is a chance to save this nation, despite the fact that we're heading towards bankruptcy at an alarming rate, very alarming rate. I do believe things are going to be changing. I do believe that the Vatican and the British Crown and DC were all taken down, or if they're not taken down, they will be completely dismantled here in the near future. And there's a lot of things that line up, and those were the three parts that were really ruling the world. And I think that we'll get our gold back, and that it will be fixed. But we do need to get our budget under control. And it's not just the Department of Defense. It's all of the things that we have. Our government is a big, fat pig, and it needs to go on a diet, a serious diet, because it's our livelihood. It's our future. And granted, we've been lied to.
And our grandkids and our great-grandkids. We did.
We did. Yeah, we had him up last night as well, Joe. And the thing is that's why the talk about the cryptocurrency that he did last night, the Dems will steal the election again. There was actually a New York Times article.
They're not. It's going to be too big to rig if we can keep saying get out and vote in person.
Well, yeah, everybody needs to get out to vote. That's going to be one of the biggest deals, is everybody's got to get out to vote. But they are going to try to steal it. The New York Times was talking about, they have to, fortify the elections. Same crap that they did with the Time article the first time they stole the election. So are they going to try to do it again? Yes, but I think they're going to be caught with the pants down around their ankles this time. And I think that it's not going to be, they're not going to have the ability to follow through the way they did before. And a lot of that has to do with, think about how much the mainstream media is not cared about what they say or what they think. More people are getting their news from everywhere else. That's a great thing. Everybody's getting the information out there. So that's going to prevent their ability to steal. Also, more people have gone from the Democratic Party to very pro-Trump. Even the never-Trumpers are becoming pro-Trumpers at this point in time. It is a very different election this time. They will try to steal it. They are going to cause problems. When it doesn't go their way, they're going to unleash everything that they have the ability to unleash. And that includes a lot of these people, ambassadors from the South, let's call them. They're going to unleash all of these people. And I think that the military is the only way. And that's why it's going to happen. Hey, what's up, Dad at home? Thanks for joining, man. Appreciate you coming in.
Steph says, but they're going to try and pause it because they don't want to certify it either. We've already been told they wouldn't certify it.
Right. They did tell us they weren't going to certify it. And that was another thing that they were.
The military is going to step in. I really think Space Force is watching.
I think Space Force is definitely watching. And that was another thing is that they had said in that New York Times article. It was in reference to the fact that it's going to take a lot of time. Nobody's going to know what the results of the election are on the first night. Even though you've been counting all these votes beforehand, you got to count them now. You can't count them before. Whatever. We already know. That's why you're going to tell us after the fact of after you've counted the in-person votes, what your mail-in ballots say. So that way you can come up with the difference. We already know how the game works. That's why it's not going to work.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's just going to be too big to rig.
Yes. Hey, Mike, how are you?
Hey, Mike, what's going on?
Glad you're here.
Yeah. Thanks for showing up,
ready?
man. Yeah.
I can't speed up what God is doing. So what happens is we get up here and even I'm trying to start running and I'm gonna hurt myself trying to run when God told me to walk. And I'm trying to ask you, what area of your life are you running in and God's saying walk? It's gonna happen. You're gonna get to 7 miles. You're gonna get it. But every lap, I want you to obey me. Every lap, yeah, I know you want your husband, but you're 26 and you said, I'd never be 26 and not be married. He said, yeah, if you walk at this pace, I'm going to work everything out of you, the hurts, all that stuff. It'll be 36 when you get married. But do you want to set the pace or do you want me to set it? Because you can get married and get divorced and my plan will still come to pass by 36. You'll just be more scarred and more broken and more hurt. He said, but I don't want you to go through that. So if you let me set the pace, well, God, he is fine. He said, please let me set the pace. Please don't compare yourself to other people. Let me do it. Yeah, you're going to be that CEO. But what if he wants to work on your character for 5 years? What if he wants to build a foundation in your family that is strong enough to take wealth? I thought about this the other day. So many people lose their health trying to get money and they have to pay for their health. Like the money you made to try, you work yourself into something that's going to take the money you had to work for. God's saying, I came to give you life and life to the I don't want you. I came to give you life and no sorrow with it. But you got to go at the pace of grace.
Thoughts, sir?
Wanted to say that the internet hasn't helped anything out. And that's the fact that everybody just wants to grow up too fast. I remember I was warned when I was a kid, don't try to grow up too fast. Enjoy being a kid. Yeah, I didn't listen. I don't think any of us did because we all wanted to get on with life. We wanted to do things and have all the excitement that's out there in this life that we have this opportunity to go really live and enjoy something for a change. And so we just want to get up and get out and go do our own thing. And the internet has become, sadly, a tool to encourage people to speed up this process even more. Hey, Ghost Pepper, to speed up this process even more of growing up and not enjoying the moment that you're in the here and now. We forget about the present because we're always excited about getting to the destination. But life isn't a destination. Actually, the destination of life is the grave. Why are we in such a rush?
Exactly.
Let that one sink in. Slow down. Enjoy where you're at.
Yep. Got another funny. You ready?
Yeah, we could use a funny.
Thoughts?
Well, I mean, clearly funny. Dog pissed on a Harris sign. I know that's how we all feel about her. Wouldn't be the first golden shower I'm pretty sure
Good.
she's had.
I know. Good dog.
Yeah, he's a good dog. Good boy. Good
Good
boy.
boy.
Yeah, give him a treat for all of us.
Exactly.
Appreciate that. That's bound to happen.
Exactly. You ready?
Yeah.
You want to read this?
Leftists promoting violence while smiling and cackling in a new Trump ad. This should be good.
Ready?
Yep.
If you had to be stuck in an elevator with either President Trump, Mike Pence, or Jeff Sessions, who would it be? Does one of us have to come out alive?
Press always asks me, don't I wish I were debating him? No, I wish we were in high school, I could take him behind the gym. That's what I wish. I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be. That you cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
President Walker, how do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
When they go low, we kick.
Please get up in the face of some Congress people.
Yes, I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Thoughts?
Powerful video. Using their words against them. Something that's needed to happen for decades now. Because all you have to do is go off of what they say and you recognize they're nothing that they present themselves to be. But fortunately, people's eyes are getting open. They're able to see who the Democratic Party really has become, who these swamp creatures are on both sides of the aisle. Thank God people are waking up to it. These are great advertisements. These show the truth. The truth will set all of us free. Thank God for a great advertising campaign. Yeah, that's good stuff.
Speaking of people opening their eyes. Read this down here.
A growing sentiment. The media made me hate Donald Trump last time, but this time I know better.
See that up there? The media made me hate Donald Trump last time. This time I know better. I think that's the sentiment that a lot of people have coming into this election. They have seen what happened during that debate when basically it was 3 against 1. They have seen the studies that show that 84% of the media coverage for Ms. Harris has been positive and 89% of the coverage for Mr. Trump has been negative. They realize that the mainstream media is nothing more than a PR firm for the Democratic Party, the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party. They realize what's going on, and they're no longer going to accept it. One thing about Americans, they do not like unfairness. They do not like people being treated unfairly. And clearly Trump has been treated unfairly by the mainstream press. It's my belief that many independents and many undecideds are going to lean towards Trump in this upcoming election, particularly when you consider the fact that they were doing much better economically during his 4 years of an administration when you compare it to Biden's 4 years. It's my belief Trump will win this election. Please comment, like, and share.
Thoughts, sir?
This is one of the great things about everybody getting out there and doing their part to try to get people to open their eyes, because each and every person is going to appeal to a different sector of society, right? And so people feel comfortable opening up and saying, I got fooled before, but I know better this time. And that's something that's happening more and more each and every single day. How great is that? That is great news. It's great news that people are saying this. And each one of those people that is woken up is going out of their way to try to make sure that they wake up their friends, because they don't want their friends to go through this. Because once you finally wake up, you recognize how busy you need to be trying to help your friends and family and loved ones and anybody and everybody you care for to see the truth, and that there's a real problem that's coming down the pipeline. And this is what's making the America great again, is the fact that we're all waking up and we're doing our part. We made it out of the fire, not to save our own ass, but so that way we could regroup and go grab people that are in the fire and get them to come out too. Because each one of those people that comes out of the fire with us are going right back in there to get the information out there that we need everybody's help. So thanks be to God. This is what's happening. People are waking up. People are recognizing that Trump is telling the truth, that we've been lied to. Everything that has been told to us on television is a lie, up to and probably including the moon landing. And that's really going to chap some people's hide once that really comes out. So we got a lot ahead of us. But the beautiful thing is more and more people are waking up every day.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Miss Carol.
Hey, Carol.
You ready?
Yep.
So I have Sassy.
Sassy.
And the comment is, I'm ready for a civil war.
Oh, God.
You ready?
I know people are getting frustrated.
Is that a fact? Let's test that theory. How much thought have any of y'all put into this, past just the words themselves? Have you ever heard of Ecclesiastes? If not, let me refresh you. There's a time for everything. There's a season for every activity. Ready for a season of war? A time to be born. A time to die. Will you sacrifice you? Time to plant. Are you ready for that life? Time to pluck. A time to kill. Can you pull the trigger? A time to heal. A time to destroy. How far will you go? A time to build. A time to cry. Can you count to tears? A time to laugh. A time to mourn. There'll be no time for that. A time to dance. A dance of death. A time to throw stone. Might be your only weapon. A time to gather stone. A time to embrace. A time to nod. A time to try. A time to give up. A time to tear and a time to mend. That could be figurative, or it could be flesh. A time to be silent. You ready for that sound? A time to speak. A time to love or lose the ones you love. A time to hate. Are you ready for that? A time for war, the stench of death, and a time for peace. That is a long time away, and that's it. The riddle of life, the motion of life. It's the reciprocality, the good, the bad. You may not believe it, but this is the time of peace. This is the tread through hostile water to get to war. No one cares about the middle ground or how you got there. Are you all really ready for that? Or are you just taught? I can be full on primal, yet nobody will be ready for this. Could you turn on your neighbors? What about your family? Are you willing to die? What about torture people? Information to stay alive. Are you willing to kill entire families? Are you willing to let your family see you die? Or you make an error and you're the reason they did die? Watch your children die? I don't think none of you realize or have the foresight, a three-peckered pelican, to anticipate what something like this would look like. I think y'all believe there'll be some kind of order to this. No, we're too far gone for that. People will be executed in the street. Homemade bombs that'll go kablooey. This isn't a game. This isn't Call of Duty where you can just respawn. It'll be every man, woman, and child versus every man, woman, and child. As soon as we get out of line, the grid will go down. There will be no electricity. There will be no running water. There will be no grocery stores. There will be no schools, no jobs, no money. Once everything's been looted, then the real fun begins. This won't be like the Civil War of the 1800s. Population of 30 million. We're fucking elbow to elbow. A death count of 750,000. 2.5% of the American population. These were tough motherfuckers. It took 10 of us to kill one of them. Do you know what 2.5% of the American population would be right now? Almost 10 million dead bodies. But trust you me, in this society, it'd be 10 times that number. You won't be running from muskets and cannonballs. Might be hiding from drones, thermal shit, no communication. Are you ready to walk over all those bones? The rotting corpses? Are you ready for the smells? I think the fuck not. The fester of death everywhere. Infection, rot, the stank of young clothes because you ain't bathed in weeks, maybe months. Smell of your own piss and shit. You barely escape with your life. You ready for the echoes of screams? You can't bury your loved ones. You might get shot. What does thousands of people screaming at once sound like? You think the only thing you got to worry about now is a gun? Baby, this ain't the musket era. There'll be humans rotting in the field, inside their homes, behind the steering wheels of their abandoned car, dead animals everywhere. Human filth and excrement everywhere. I know it sounds like California, but we will not be able to imagine it. It would be a literal bloodbath. There would be no law, there would be no order. The police would try, but they would fail. Humanity would be turned off. You could run, but you'd never be able to hide. Over 600 million eyes? Nah. Sky will be black with smoke. Burning buildings, burning bodies. There won't be hospitals. The sick will be left for dead. Do you think you know how to can food? There'll be factions of militia. They'll take what you have. If your children do survive, they'll take them too. They might just take you. And you know what they would do. Y'all ain't ready for the psychological warfare, the crimes of humanity, the death, the destruction that a civil war in this time would bring. The military won't save nobody. They'll pick a side just like everybody else. You think Hollywood movies can do it justice? Everybody this time will turn on everybody. Who can really tap into the psyche of the human mind? How warped it can be. You're talking in the biochemical age, an age where morality is dead. They'll poison your water and wait you out and watch you starve to death and die. What's ammunition going to do when there's nothing to hunt? Think you'll just drive somewhere else? They won't be no gas. Enough for 2 or 3 months. And where you stop is where you stop. You think you're going to farm and garden? A stranger will bury you on it. They'll come in the darkness of night and take everything you have. Let's hope your survival instincts are good, because you'll have to stay on the move. There'll be no hunkering down homestead. You'll have to shoot first and ask questions later. Paranoia will be unfathomable. Anything that you need to stay alive, somebody else is going to want. We'll all start off with 2 teams. But how many teams do those 2 teams turn into? A dozen, a couple thousand, tens of thousands when it comes down to survival. You think the government's just going to stand by? Nah, they'll destroy everybody fighting. They'll just make more people fight. More chaos, more destruction. There'll be so much death you won't know what to do with it. Pure, unadulterated carnage. There'll be more people starve to death, freeze to death, simply beat to death than this calculator could add. People will be burning stuff just to stay warm. A civil war in this age would send us back 1,000 years. After a couple months, your politics won't matter. The life you remembered won't matter. Your family, your friends, they won't matter. There would be no escape. There would be nowhere to go, nowhere to hide. You think it's like when soldiers go overseas? Nah, they fight because they know they got something to come home to. What do you do when your home is the war zone? What do you do when your brother's the enemy? When your sister's the enemy? When your mom, your dad's the enemy? You think you're ready for a civil war? You may be, and you may not be. I'd wager you're not ready for the psychological mindfuck that a civil war would be in today's time. Imagine 300 million starving people, scared, afraid, not knowing what to do. Majority of those never fired a gun, being in a fist fight, crying over their fucking feelings. There would be no rules to this civil war. When America finally cracks, hell itself will split wide open. Pandora couldn't fix it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll fucking wait.
Thoughts, sir?
I agree with everything he said. People aren't ready. They have no idea what they're asking for. I know that it's fun to go out there, buy a red American flag or a black American flag. And I know that some of the people that sport that stuff are people that have been in the sandbox. But they could go home. They could get away from it. There will be no getting away from it. Nobody's going to be able to trust anybody. It will be terrifying. Nobody should be praying for that.
Nope.
I cannot express how unprepared your average American is for something like that. Most people will lose their mind right away. Most people will lose their mind right away because they just will be in absolute disbelief and shock. And then everything else he was talking about, the sights, the smells, the things you have to do to keep you and yours alive.
And you have to remember, he's a nurse.
He's a nurse. He's seen and smelled a lot of all of everything.
Just like you have.
And it's not something that anybody's really prepared. I know I'm not prepared for it here on these shores.
Yeah.
I know that I have no ability to. I would do my best to work with my neighbors and to try to make sure that we have the ability to make it until supplies can make their way out here to the middle of the desert. But also at the same time, I know that when the water runs out and when the food runs out, by the way, people get more worried about food than water. So when the food runs out, people start thinking a little bit differently about things. Doesn't matter how good of a friendship or relationship you had, people will lose their mind. People think that you do it the way they do it on TV. You know, the TV show Survivor. Oh, I would have done so good on Survivor. Oh my God, I'm like the ultimate survivor. Too bad they never had me. And about 20 million other people are thinking the exact same thing. 20 million, 30 million other people are thinking that they're going to go to the same hill that you think you're going to go to that's out in the woods. Unless you have some of your own woods. But that doesn't mean that people aren't going to be trying to escape from the major urban centers so that way they
And
can
take
go
it
find
over.
and take over a little plot of land. Nobody wants that. There is no good scenario with a complete collapse of society where it goes to pew-pews towards each other. That's why we need to pray, and we
Yeah.
need to make sure that we are building the community that we desperately need.
Yep.
Hope that helps. Jenny says that Civil War 2A movie was pretty good, but really hit home. Yeah, I would like to see that one. I haven't seen any movies in forever and a day, but I think that that's one that I should see just because I want to see what they're trying to talk people into. It would turn into The Walking Dead, although I do believe that there would be groups of people who would be decent trying to make things right. But I do believe that there would be some warlords, especially in the very beginning, who would take an early lead and it would look much, much worse than what it ever should have been.
You ready?
Yeah.
Want to read that down here?
RFK Jr. explains how to really drain the swamp.
Let's go.
Let's hear it.
Everyone has heard President Trump's signature phrase,
drain the swamp in Washington, D.C.
His instinct is spot on. The problem is that in Washington, it's not just about a few corrupt individuals. It's a whole crooked system. It's the federal agencies, it's the lobbyists, it's the think tanks and research organizations, it's the university and the academic groups and the media. And it's the corporations that have captured these agencies and turned them into sock puppets of the industries they're supposed to regulate. Well, I've spent 40 years suing almost all of these agencies and many of the industries. And I know the names in many of these agencies of the bad actors who need to be moved out. I understand the perverse incentives that put agency capture on steroids. I know how this system is supposed to work to protect the public interest and how it actually works to protect the mercantile interests of the regulated industries that have captured it. And I know how to fix it. When you sue an agency, you get a PhD in corporate capture and how to unravel it. And that's exactly what I'm going to do with Donald Trump's backing. Let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to appoint honest officials who don't have conflicts of interest. We're going to listen to whistleblowers and act on their revelations. We're going to slam shut the revolving door that sends industry executives and lobbyists in and out of government. We're going to fire anyone who betrays the public trust or lies to the public. And we're going to prohibit federal agencies from using their powers to harass political opponents. That's what it means to drain the swamp. One of my priorities in Washington will be to make sure that President Trump can follow through on his promise and return us to a government of the people and to make America healthy again.
Thoughts, sir?
That's pretty awesome.
Was that?
He said he's got names. Huh?
Was that an amazing video?
That was an amazing video. It's
I cried the first time, or the first 3 times I've watched it.
These are the things that give me hope. These are the things that let me know that a true reckoning, a reaching across the aisle is occurring. To have that man support President Trump, who's supporting really everybody who believes in traditional American values. Obviously, RFK falls into that. Junior, that is, of course. Anyways, along with so many others. This is what's beautiful, is it's people from all walks of life are coming together to reinvigorate, to clean off the tarnish that has been America. It's happening. It may not look great right now, but if you've ever used like Brasso or anything to clean brass, you take this little cotton wad and you rub it on brass and it leaves this film on top of it. It looks like it's kind of cleaning up a little bit, but it's not until you take it.
Still looks dirty.
Still looks a little dirty. But once you take that clean rag and you wipe all that stuff off, it's shiny and new all over again. It's happening. These are the things we need to focus on. America will be fine. Each and every one of us should be fine in the end.
God wins.
God wins in the end. And that's the part that matters.
Yeah.
Because I do believe this to be God's country. I do believe that America will be exactly what it was designed to be from the beginning.
Amen.
We just lost our way. It's all right. Lost sheep can find their way back home too.
Exactly.
Of course, it helps with the shepherd.
Yes.
Just throwing that one out there.
And we have a good one.
We do. I know a shepherd.
Yep.
If you need one,
I know a guy.
hit me up. I know a guy. Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
My friend, did you know that there are people in this world whose faces light up when they see you? It's not because of what you can do or provide or what they can take from you. It's just because of who you are. Always remember that, okay? All right.
All right, sir. Lay it on us.
So in this world where everybody's trying to be a Viking, everybody's trying to be a hard-ass pterodactyl and try to use people for, what they can provide so that way they can get their own benefit. And these are the things that are easy to see because those are the things that cause us pain. But what we really should be focusing on are the people that are happy to see us each and every day. The people that you bring a smile to their face. These are the things that we're looking for in this life. Sadly, we've been focused on all the wrong things because everything's gone awry. But that doesn't mean that there isn't that joy, love, and sense of belonging that's really out there for each of you. We may not recognize it and we may not see it. And we may have actually hurt the people that we needed that loving look from long ago. And they may still have a hard time reconnecting, and that's okay. They'll come back, because they'll see that each one of us has changed and we've changed for the better, and we let go of the things that we were on our self-destructive path for in the past. Now we're trying to be more constructive with our lives. And those very people that we miss will shine again because they see your face. They will. They will. And I guarantee you, each and every one of you right now has somebody that's truly excited to see you each and every day. May not know who they are, but there's somebody out there. Know that you're loved, and know that
I look forward to seeing each and everyone's
Well-
little emoji even every single day.
It's fun for us. Yeah.
It gives my heart so much joy. So much joy.
But despite us, besides us, somebody's out there that really you do make their day better. And that's something that should fill your heart up as well.
Yeah.
Because if you can make somebody else feel better just by your mere presence, then the world's already a little bit better of a place.
It is.
All of y'all are awesome. We love each and every one of you. Thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net. And I went ahead and rolled out to the ending here. But did you have any thoughts that you wanted to share on this? My bad.
It's okay. It's okay, sir. It's okay.
I love you.
I love you too.
All right.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. Doesn't cost you a thing, guys. It's free.
It's free, 50 free.
If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. And if you're over on X, smash that heart. I love each and every one of you, and I can't wait till tomorrow. And you guys keep Bethany in your prayers. She's still working right now.
Poor Bethany.
And that's why she wasn't here tonight, but she is thinking about each and every one of you, I promise.
Yeah, she is. Very much so. Esto asks, before we head out of here, how can I find you outside of Rumble? You can find us, let's see. TikTok. It's going to be Dat Thing of Ours on TikTok. And then also you can watch the videos on X. It's Dat Thing of Ours on X as well.
Facebook.
Yeah, and there you go.
We're on every social media. It's always we're on Instagram. We're on everywhere.
Yep.
Everywhere.
All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight. We love you all. Have a great night. Be safe, and God bless you.